Hey guys, it's Matt. This isn't the video I planned to make, but I was roaming around YouTube this morning. Zara woke me up at 4 something. I couldn't get back to sleep. She was like, 4:30, time for milking book. I just got up. It's still dark. It's 5 something now, not even 5:30. Roaming around YouTube, and here we go again. I was like, no. Another megalithic site that nobody's ever heard of, where we don't know anything about the civilization that built it, the repeating scripts of a false reality, and the blocks are too big to be moved, and they didn't have cranes that should be able to move those blocks so big, and the materials were sourced from miles away, or at least not right there, so they had to move the blocks a certain distance. It's the same repeating reality script over and over again. And I guess when I started talking about this about 4 years ago, I was kind of embarrassed, I guess, because it was so crazy. I think I just kind of hinted at it. When I knew only the old guard was watching, I was like, nobody built it. I didn't say that. Nobody built. I didn't say that. Well, now we've seen so much of it, and I'm just kind of irritated with the same old reality script that I'm just going to say it. And I'm going to try to prove it. If that can even be done in this video, or at least lay out a common sense. Matt, you can't lay out a common sense argument that megalithic structures all over the world are part of reality itself and weren't built by anybody. Well, I'm going to try my best, or appear like a crazy man in trying to do it. I'm tired of this shit from reality. Reality, you have derailed. You know who built these structures? Nobody. Nobody.
Although we discuss numerous prehistoric megastructures on our channel, the ancient ruins of Baalbek in modern-day Lebanon might be the most compelling evidence of an advanced ancient civilization missing from our history books. This monumental complex, with its immense megalithic stones, some weighing over 1,000 tons, defies any explanation through the lens of conventional archaeology.
Matt, it's Baalbek in Lebanon. Everybody knows Baalbek. It's one of the most famous megalithic site structures in the world. Okay, fine. I never heard of it. But if you've heard of, go to Ancient Aliens tonight or watch these dumb shows on cable. There's going to be another one and another one you've never heard of, or Ancient Ruins. Let's get what if I had my whiteboard here, my old cheap whiteboard. Where'd that son of a bitch go? Let's just ancient civilization that leaves no trace of itself. Check. The blocks are too big to be moved, even by today's standards. Check. The materials are sourced far away, or at least not right on the site. Check.
Baalbek is situated in northeastern Lebanon, approximately 60 miles from Beirut.
Of course, it's Baalbek. Baal. The first grade truthers love, for years and years, this goes back 12 to 15 years, love to make videos about what Baal and Moloch and all the ancient gods means to the creeps. What could somebody on YouTube know about what these ancient gods really mean to the creeps, if anything at all? I mean, if the creeps float this stuff, they float a lot of false breadcrumbs. Is that new? I mean, I don't care what ancient gods are important to the creeps, but the first grade truthers, they're experts on Baal and Moloch and that's weaving spiders come not here at the grove. See at the grove. Oh, that's Moloch, the owl. Oh, the first grade truthers. How would anybody know that? I mean, whatever. Just okay. Of course, this is Baalbek. Break your balls back. This is reality. This is getting ridiculous.
However, beneath the Roman construction lies a series of enormous megalithic stones known as the trilithons, which form part of the foundation of the temple complex. These trilithons each measure over 19 meters, 62 feet in length, 4.2 meters, 14 feet in height, and 3.6 meters, 12 feet in thickness, and weigh approximately 900 metric tons, making them one of the largest stones ever moved, lifted, and stacked in human history. To put this into perspective, each stone is roughly 36 times the weight of the stones used to construct Stonehenge, and approximately 10 times the weight of the largest stones used in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Despite their immense size, these stones were somehow transported from a quarry located over half a mile away and raised to a height of 30 feet or 9 meters, on top of these smaller 400-ton blocks to form part of the foundation of the Heliopolis complex, upon which the Temple of Jupiter was later built.
Make it stop. Oh, Flake, make it stop. So they put, let me get this straight. You're really smart. You're from Davenport. They put 900-ton blocks on top of 400-ton blocks. I didn't take no architecture classes at Penn State. You would do it the other way around, first off. It's not, they wouldn't even be able to move even 900 pounds. It's 900 tons, people. 900, that's 2,000 pounds each to you and me. And they put the 900-ton, the big ones, on top of the smaller ones that shouldn't be able to be moved, the 400-ton blocks, and it doesn't go up that high. It would have to go up like 5 times the size of the Empire State Building for there to be any sort of need for 900-ton blocks at the bottom. Sorry. I've seen enough years ago, actually. It's an element of reality itself. Nobody built these, all right? I mean, so is that so crazy, even to the old guard? Or many of you are like, well, I'm not ready to go there with you, Matt. I've gone many weird places with you, Matt, but I'm not ready to go there. Is it really so hard to go there? First off, for the Mandela Effect, and let's just get these sons of bitches out of the way. I'm Mandela affected too, so no offense. I'm one of you. We're gonna be one. You've seen reality just change in front of your eyes. So is that me saying these structures are part of reality? The Mandela Effect people should be like, yeah, I can see that. All of reality just broke down and changed in front of my very eyes. So whether it's a movie line, Interview with a Vampire, or a 900-ton block, to the Mandela Effect of people, there should be no difference. Okay, Greg saw the damn Wizard of Oz change before his very eyes. Well, he's a crazy man from South Carolina. Oh, well, I trust Greg, and I trust many of your stories have been shared with me over many years, and I have my own. So, okay, now for the non-Mandela affected people, have you ever witnessed what we would call, we've been floating on this channel a long time, a reality breakdown? Something that just defies logic, all common sense, the human download in people around you, the creeps with means at their disposal which could only be described as supernatural. Of course, you've all witnessed that. So you're willing to accept that, but not accept this part of reality over here. Just because it's a heavy stone, somebody had to have built it. See, this is a heavy stone. You could drop it, well, you couldn't drop a 900-ton block on your foot, but these materials, it's heavy. It's real, Matt. All that reality breakdown stuff, that's something else. This is what did Fender Rhodes say in Ocean's 13? I'm talking about heavy bikes, sir. Heavy bikes. He said that to Matt. You're losing it. He said that to Al Pacino. Heavy bikes, sir. You jumping? Yep. Fender Rhodes. What did he say? He said, pay me my money in cash. Sorry. So this part of reality you can accept as a reality breakdown, but over here it's heavy stones. So that can't possibly be a reality breakdown. There's no difference. See, I look at the repeating script, the themes, everything relates together. And part of the truth community, the first graders are calling out, inherited from prior civilizations. You know what? You're going to have to do better than that. Just crying out, inherited from prior it's not good enough. Sorry. You might not like my shit, that it's just part of reality itself, like the plants and the trees. You might not like that, but stop yelling out inherited. Got to do better at this point.
The precision with which these stones were cut and aligned is extraordinary, as they fit together almost seamlessly, with gaps so narrow that not even a piece of paper can fit between them.
There's another ridiculous checkbox for my whiteboard that doesn't really exist here. Blocks fit together so perfectly and irregularly, you can't even put a piece of paper between the seams. Check. Add that to our whiteboard that doesn't exist. And the first grade truthers, they have an answer for everything. Well, Matt, the Illuminati came in the 20s and 30s, and they poured concrete. And see, when the concrete's wet, you can then just draw lines in it and make it look like blocks. This is all an Illuminati trick. Matt, they're able to pull off 10,000 tricks at the same time, all with people that run around sitting on the pot eating Subway sandwiches. What was I thinking? The Illuminati came in. Did they build this the week after they built Stonehenge? Or the week before they built Stonehenge? Or was this built the week after they built the Giza pyramids? The Illuminati built that too. There wasn't nothing there. There ain't nothing there, Lieutenant. You said there'd be pyramids here. There's nothing. The Illuminati didn't bring the cranes in yet. That's what they did. First grade truthers. What was I thinking? I'm going to shut the entire channel down. My last video.
Unlike typical Roman construction, which focused on grandeur and aesthetics in visible structures, the trilithons were not designed to be seen. They were buried within the foundation, hidden from view, and seem to have been laid out primarily for structural purposes.
And seems to be laid out primarily for structural purposes. Come on, sir. Now, I'm not getting on the person that runs this channel. He got his bullshit from the mainstream, from the authorities, from the assholes at Harvard, Yale, Cambridge, and Oxford. He's just getting his shit from the mainstream. But that's ridiculous. Seems to have been laid out for structural purposes. And they have them named, too, the trilithons. That's like grassy knoll. That's a little reality trick that's played here. We'll talk about it a little later. They name them the trilithons. No, I didn't pass no engineering and architecture classes at Penn State. In fact, I barely got by my business calculus. My math don't work too well for me. I'm a verbal dude. I speak real good. If I were to have passed those classes, you don't put no 900-ton blocks on top of 400-ton blocks. You would put the 900-ton blocks on the bottom, not the smaller ones on the bottom, but you don't even need 900-pound blocks to build something only 80, 90, or 100 feet tall. So, I mean, where's Bacchus, the master builder from the Ten Commandments? Was it, I was going to say Gene Hackman. It wasn't Gene Hackman. It was, what's his name? Was it Vincent Price? Was it Vincent Price? Bacchus, the master builder, comes along. What the hell did you do here? You put the 900-ton blocks on top of the 400-ton. That don't make no sense. Now, it's going to be strong because we only got to go up 80 more feet. You could have put 9-pound blocks. Just regular bricks from Matt's brickyard where he gets the damn fire bricks would have been enough. It doesn't make no sense. I mean, Bacchus was sleeping on the job.
The trilithons were not designed to be seen. They were buried within the foundation, hidden from view.
Oh no, another truth element. Buried. This is a mud flood aspect of reality's bringing in the mud flood. Reality can't help itself. Reality, you have derailed. They weren't designed to be seen. The mud flood washed it all away. Or I thought the mud flood was supposed to pile up more mud. Well, how can it be seen now? Did the Illuminati dig them out? They weren't supposed to be seen. Matt, that proves right there. They were mud flooded. Oh, what was I thinking? Look at this picture. What they got? Oh, they got just regular people circled there. I thought they had circled Bigfoot. I swear there was a magazine we used to look at in elementary school. You know, that famous picture? They had circled Bigfoot. It was like, that's Bigfoot. That's real. Or I thought originally they're just people. They're showing the scale to size of the trilithons. They named those things like they named the grassy knoll. I thought they might have circled the New Jersey Devil.
This raises the question of why a civilization would go to such lengths to move and position these massive stones only to bury them.
Isn't that interesting how we put that? This raises the question. That's exactly right. That's the exact point. The person hit the nail on the head and they didn't even realize it. Reality is designed to raise the question. This raises the question about where you came from. This raises the question and tries to confuse you about your history. That's exactly what reality does. It raises questions that can't be answered. And if you chase the stinky yellow breadcrumb, it'll lead you in a place that hides you further and further from yourself or understanding your true nature. It's all a different presentation of the same old reality trick. Reality, you should be ashamed of yourself.
This raises the question of why a civilization would go to such lengths to move and position these massive stones only to bury them.
Why a civilization would go to such lengths to move and position these stones. Why they would go to such lengths? They didn't. What you mean they did? Nobody did. What you mean nobody did? Nobody even broke a sweat. To me, this is just another false reality presentation. Is that so hard to imagine for those that have done truth research as long as we have, or the old guard, seen reality break down into 100 places? Every megalithic site around the world leads the exact same set of circumstances or like the exact same calling card. no matter what continent it's on. It tells us nothing about the civilization that built it, the civilization that was there, left no calling card, nothing about itself, didn't even transcribe stick figures into the rock showing how it does its Karma Sutras, nothing about the prior civilization. Of course, the blocks are too big to be moved with just jackasses, burros, mules, yaks, and donkeys with just ropes and chisels. They should never have been able to be carved. There's a perfect perfection between the seams and the blocks. The materials had to be sourced from down the road, or in some cases up to 50 to 100 miles away. The authorities of today have no clue. They can't really figure out what happened. All they can do to save their jobs is yell out, "It was a tomb!" Then the professors in Harvard, Cambridge, Oxford, Yale, and the University of Minnesota can keep their $700,000 to $800,000 a year jobs and make themselves look smart because they just got together and they colluded amongst each other and said, "We're not going to ever figure this shit out. So what we do is just yell out, 'It was a tomb.' Then we all can keep our jobs."
There isn't any historical documentation from the Romans detailing how they achieved such an architectural feat. The Romans, renowned for their meticulous record-keeping, documented nearly every major construction project they undertook. Yet there is no Roman account explaining the process of moving these immense stones or how they were incorporated into the foundation of the Temple of Jupiter.
This site appears to be attributed to the Romans via the official history, but even the person that presents this YouTube video hints that it could have been a more ancient civilization, and the Temple of Jupiter that the Romans built was built on top of these 900, I'm going to say 9,000 ton, 900 ton, that's still a lot. I mean, come on. Look here, and this overall, this part of the story helps those in the truth community that are just dying to yell out, "Inherited structures from an ancient civilization," and you're painting yourself into a corner if you keep yelling that out. Here's the problem. There's several problems with that, okay? Those that yell out "inherited from an ancient civilization," that incredible technology and know-how. So they had the incredible technology and know-how to move around 900 pound, no. Some guy on the street can do that. 900-ton blocks. But they didn't have the know-how to leave like a Rosetta Stone for us, or even little stick figures carved in the side telling us something about their civilization. It's always a repeating script. We know nothing about the civilization that built it. They can't even draw Karma Sutra stick figures in the rocks. I don't expect them to leave an exact Rosetta Stone translating their backward broke-ass language into English, but, send the Jodie Foster movie Contact back in time. Didn't the Vegans communicate with these ancient structures where 2 slashes equals no and 1 slash equals yes? Can't they provide some sort of primer so that we can, through some sort of Rosetta Stone? They're so advanced, right? Those that yell out "inherited," these ancient civilizations were so advanced. Why didn't they provide some information about themselves and some sort of translation as to how we can interpret their hieroglyphics? No, okay, it doesn't matter where the megalithic site is, what country, what continent. The elements of the reality script are always the same. We've been over them several times. I'm not going to go over them again. The problem with yelling out "inherited" is these ancient civilizations that are believed in by those that yell out "inherited" don't leave any information, not one shred, about what they were, other than whatever we can glean from the hieroglyphics from Egypt, okay? Maybe the Illuminati carved them in the rock in the 20s with a damn penknife. Look, okay, probably not. But the elements of the megalithic structures are, just almost to the T, exactly the same. Right down to the materials being sourced far away from the site. When this happens twice, 3 times, you should start to question, okay, wait a second. Is this a reality script of some time? 4 times. It's now 100 times, 200 times. You can watch these ancient alien TV shows. They'll talk to you every night about a megalithic structure or some ancient site that nobody's ever heard of before. Well, Matt, are they propagating themselves in reality like a Mandela Effect? I keep all of that on the table, sure. Just because this site may have popped up yesterday. If you those that are Mandela affected, I'm not saying this is what it is, okay? I'm not saying it just morphed into reality. I'm saying nobody built it. It's part of the reality trick, however you explain that. doesn't mean exactly Mandela effect, just something to keep on the table. Those that are Mandela affected, something appears in this reality that did not exist, and it's retrocausal in nature or retroactive. The history will show you that it always existed. When to those that are Mandela affected, it never existed in this. So interview with a vampire is no different to me than a 900-ton block. And I'm not saying that's what this is, but the reality trick comes in many different forms. And just because, like I've said many times, just because it's heavy, you can drop it on your foot, doesn't mean that that can't be part of the reality trick. Just because it's heavy or you can hold it, I mean, that's very small thinking to think that that would be different because it's heavy. Why would it be different? So again, we've seen this. We looked at Easter Island. We took the Not Milk travel tours to Easter Island a few weeks ago. It was the same exact type of presentation in terms of how were they built, how were they had to drag those giant penis heads from hundreds of miles away. In this case, this is the least distance. I think did they say a half mile or something, or a mile to a half mile down the road? But these are not 90-pound blocks. These are 900 tons. I mean, reality isn't that stupid. I kind of get on reality, say it's derailed and make fun of it, but it kind of knows that nobody's going to. Well, I was going to say nobody's going to believe that a 900 ton, that's 2,000 per ton, could be dragged from hundreds of miles away. Nobody's going to believe that, although reality did not even realize how stupid the population and the masses would be today. If reality knew what it was dealing with today in terms of the populace, it would have said that these blocks that were 900 tons came from halfway around the world, and people would have believed that. So it had to, in its presentation, it had to be somewhat believable. Just believable enough where somebody that thinks we're crazy in our pursuits and what we believe about how the world works to come along and say, well, Matt, it is 900 tons, but see, unlike the cases with these other megalithic structures, they only had to move it a half a mile. Some people listening to this can't even walk a half mile, putting on their best shoes with the comfort sole. Can't even walk a half mile. Do you have any idea how heavy 900 tons is? Do you have any idea? I mean, it would be, each block would be the equivalent of 450 SUVs per each block. Look, it can't be figured out. The university professors and the archaeological department heads just save their asses. They save their $800,000 a year jobs and their $400,000 a year benefit packages and their ability to sleep with 21-year-old women and in some cases men, just by yelling out, look, they got together a long time ago and they met in that back room where Bill depicted the Baphomet floating up in the air, and they said, guys, let's be honest here. We're never going to figure this shit out. Just keep saying it's a tomb. Keep saying it's an ancient burial tomb. If Harvard jives with Yale and Yale jives with Cambridge and Cambridge jives with Oxford and all saying the same things, and we're a little bit smarter than everybody else in the room, just keep yelling out, it's a tomb!